Welcome to the city, Mastermind City. Hi, I'm Faye Chappell.
And I'm Stacy Maynard. Join us for a vibrant, inspiring, and uplifting talk as we focus on how you can make a lasting impact on a global scale. Because the truth is, we're here because we want you to win.
So are you ready to surround yourself with success? Because you're in the right place. Welcome to the city. Peace, Navida. I'm wearing a Santa hat to distract me from being a naughty girl. I've been naughty. I mean, you know what? For those of you who haven't done our quiz yet, we have a naughty or nice quiz, and Santa tells you if you're on the naughty or nice list. And I think I'm on the naughty list.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I don't think I'm ready for the new year. What about you?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why we're blaming the elf. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So if you go to blametheelf.com, you will find out if you're on the naughty or nice list. But why are we blaming the elf?
Because, we have to blame somebody, so he distracted from us. So I'm the naughty elf today. I was just thinking about, it's been a long haul, last couple of months. I've put off doing some things, and it's not good because you shouldn't put off doing some things. But I think a lot of people are still, I believe I am anyways, in that COVID fog, right? And so you do as much as you can, but then you get to a point during the day and you just go, I can't really do anymore.
Yeah, you do get to, yeah, exactly. So I feel a little bit, I know we're still in, again, sort of that COVID fog, but yeah. I feel like I'm getting organized. I'm getting to the point where I want to plan. Like I've been, for anyone that knows me, I'm a big planner junkie.
Yeah.
I probably have them all or have at least looked at them all.
Yeah.
And this year I usually go paper, and I have about 16 different planners and books and journals and all of that kind of stuff. And I've done the create your own. I've gone to companies and literally I want this page first. I want this bunch of pages second. I've done that. I'm literally obsessed. I need help. I need an intervention.
Yeah.
So clearly. So this year I decided, no, there has to be a better way. So I am going digital, which sounds weird considering I'm a tech person, but I'm going digital this year. I do like my paper. I like to write. That's my challenge. When Fay and I are talking about what we're going to do for the next month or business planning and stuff like that, I'm constantly taking notes because we're just downloading, right? We're just downloading information. We don't want to forget what we're talking about because we're like, what did we say about that? And we'll go, I don't know.
Exactly.
So I like to write. So I'm now sort of investigating that next step, which is sort of taking notes and doing planners on an iPad. So I'm going to see if that makes me feel like I'm still writing in a book, because I like the concepts of it being shared all through different devices. The notes are there, it's organized. So I'm playing with that right now. So I feel like maybe it's the end of the year and this is what I normally do, and I want some sort of normalcy. So I'm going into obsessive world. I don't know, but.
Well, I think right now is everyone starts thinking about, okay, I got to really, get organized and plan. And that's why when we do the challenge in January, it's, we have a one-page planner, one page, and then you write down, it's written. But we can also do it digitally, and maybe Stacy will investigate how to put it on the iPad.
Yes, I'm very excited about that one.
That would be a good idea. So I'm thinking, I think, you're right. It's tough right now. It's Christmas coming. I know holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everybody. I don't want to get anyone saying, oh no, it's not my holiday. It's a holiday season.
It's holiday season. Exactly.
It's holiday season. So it's an interesting holiday season this year though, because I think like most of us, we're kind of like low key more of it this year, right? Last year it was almost non-existent. This year it's just low key. So it's like, I think everyone I've talked to has said no or very limited presence.
Yeah. They're dipping their toe into going back, but you know what? It also gave us an opportunity to change what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with any holiday, it doesn't matter what you celebrate, you have your traditions but then sometimes traditions are meant to be broken. And it's hard to break those traditions when it's every whatever day.
Right. We always do that. We always do this.
We always do what we've always done. And nobody ever kind of nobody wants to be the person that goes, maybe we shouldn't do it this way anymore. We should do it differently. So it's given an opportunity to, again, figure it out. What do you want to do with your family? What do you want to do with your friends? How do you want to celebrate? What are you going to do? And everyone's open to change and doing things differently because I think that's expected, which is actually kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, like I'm in a different space now, so we're not, the family isn't close by, everybody. So now it's a matter of, okay, how do I change this to make it fit for everyone? Because, my son can't drive 3 hours to get here and drive back somewhere else on the same day. And how do they go to their in-laws, for lack of a better phrase, their in-laws place and come here too. And like our tradition, every Christmas Eve, we order Chinese food from the same place. I can't do that this year.
Right.
It's the first year. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to have this year? It'll be a little different. But I think I like to think about bringing that right into your planning for January and the year ahead. I mean, you do things, generally speaking, you do the same way you plan every year. And I guess in the infamous words of Dr. Phil, how is that working for you?
Right. We're quoting Dr. Phil today.
So if you've always done your planning the same way, maybe it's time to change that too, right? So I'm admitting that I'm a little behind the 8 ball in terms of I've usually planned things out. We've planned things out much better. There are some distractions and circumstance that happened. We were going to do some work yesterday, and today it didn't kind of work out that way. So I was sort of thinking, okay, so this New Year challenge, the year of Beat Epic, this year I'm going to do it a little differently because I'm going to plan along. We talked about this last week. We're going to plan along with you. We're going to share what we're doing so that you can see we're no different. We might have long-term goals that are written out a little clearer than a lot of people. However, the day-to-day planning and moving that into a one-page planner is just as challenging for us too. So I was kind of thinking, I've been naughty. That's what my quiz came out to. So
we're blaming the elf.
We're blaming the elf. So I was thinking, Stacy, because I love to spring things on you. I was thinking that anyone that's listening today, I think we should set up a code, and anyone who's listening today can come join the challenge today for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What do you think? It's a Christmas gift from the naughty one.
I don't think that's going to help. So I say, because we're blaming the elf, that we will use the code ELF.
ELF. Okay. ELF. So anyone who's listening today, we're talking about today, I want you to jump on to.
Well, we can just go to theyearofbeingepic.com.
Right.
Go to sign up for the challenge. And when you get to the cart, there'll be a place for the code.
So yes, that's a gift for you guys because you're listening today and because I recognize how bad I was. And that's it. So there is no excuse. If we're saying you can join us for free, like seriously, guys, like just join us, right?
Exactly. So if you're listening, so remember
5 days of really intense planning and getting your life and your business in order. So I like to surprise Stacy with things.
All of a sudden I'm like, okay, just making a note. I got to put this in. What are we doing? No, that's a great idea. So because it is, I was talking to somebody recently. It was yesterday, actually, on our, because we have a networking meeting that happens every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. So I go in. I don't go in every week. Our wonderful community director, Linda Stanko, runs that particular networking group. But I was there yesterday because I like to go in and say hi to people, and I haven't seen people. And so I was telling them, and everybody, this is basically the topic of conversation right now, is getting organized. What are people doing? And they were asking, well, what is this and how will it help? Well, I didn't even know how to begin. How will help you? So anybody that wants to get on track, it's such a fantastic challenge. And literally I did it. When did you start it? It was, I can't even begin to remember.
8 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the first time I did it was like 2015.
Yeah.
And I went through and it was like, okay, I feel it. And last year, like at the beginning of 2021, we did the challenge, but we did it for other people, and I just I wasn't there. I wasn't in the planning mode. Yes, we were launching Gia for the first time, and we're just kind of middle of our launch at that point. So I just felt like things were kind of moving, so I didn't feel the plan. And now things have evolved in our business. Mastermind City has evolved. We've done a lot of really great things in 2021. It's actually going to be very exciting to look back on all the things that we did and all the learnings we had. Some things were really successful and some things weren't. So it's going to be really good to kind of do that audit. I'm excited about that part. So I didn't feel that need to do the audit. I felt like it was like, I don't want to do an audit of 2020.
Right. That's what I mean. Like I feel exactly the same way. And if you don't do an audit, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to do, and don't worry guys. It doesn't mean you have to go through a million numbers or anything. It's like just looking back and, checking out what worked and what didn't and what you could do differently and how you could actually look at it really logically and say, even though you might have loved something, it just really didn't work. And we had a lot of those too. Everybody does. So everyone that you follow or watch or do their programs have success. And then they have one success and about 20 failures, right? So if you think that everything someone launches is successful, it's not. You only see obviously the big ones that everyone's talking about. So we're in the same boat. So we're going to do it right through. We're going to share all our notes with you, and we're going to have a live Q&A every day. And I think it's really important to understand at this time, most of you have probably either done your holiday shopping or close to it, or like me, not at all. And but
online shopping rocks. I just have to say that.
Exactly. But because we said no gifts, I don't have to do too much. But again, it's sort of, you're faced with the fact that, I got to do something. So rather than, push it off, because a lot of you are still pushing it off, right? You're pushing off. I'll do it in January, No, sign up for the challenge, for our challenge, or sign up for someone's and start so that you're committed. Ours starts January 3rd. You're committed to start doing something on that date, because if you don't put it in your calendar, it won't get done. So this way you're committed, 5 days into January, and then you're done, and then you can, work out your plan. So wouldn't it be great? Think of that feeling. Isn't it great to have your whole plan listed and then boom, hit the ground running, rather than sitting there on, mid-January, January 15th, because this is what always happens, right? Middle of January, everyone goes, oh, I didn't do it, so I'm screwed again this year.
Right. No, it is the beginning of January.
Yeah.
It's true. And you do feel a little bit left behind. Yeah. Like I know, but it was interesting because again, January of 2021, it just wasn't like that. No one wanted to do the reflection. No one wanted to talk about planning. We just wanted to just get through this.
And I will give shout out to people. Some of the people that did the challenge were great last year, right? They rocked it. They put their plans together. They were moving forward. Everything was good. But I would say the majority of people you just had that, that fog. And again, that fog's lifting a bit this year, but it was starting to lift. And then the new, what's it called? Omicron.
Yeah.
Omicron. The new one came out. Now everyone's like, oh, here we go again. So rather than focus on that, okay, if it comes, it comes. We have to deal with it, and we have to be safe, and we have to make sure we do everything right. But let's not just sit still like we did last year and say, because last year we were sitting there going, what do we do?
Right, exactly. But I think even with the new variants, and there's always going to be something new, or this might just be part of our lives.
Yeah.
And we can no longer just sit back and go, okay, well, it's part of our lives, so I'm not going to do anything. No, now we have to realize that if this is part of our lives, plan for it, get back into it, figure out how to do business differently, put that plan together so that you can move forward instead of just, I feel like there was a waiting period. We're no longer in the waiting period.
No.
We're not going to wait for things to change. We're not going to wait for things to quote unquote get better. We're not waiting for the COVID thing to be gone before we can do everything. It's part of our lives. It will go up and down, things will change, but now is the time to really embrace how we're going to be doing business and put that plan together. So.
Right. So in the meantime, as you're waiting to do your planning, has anyone watched any good Christmas movies? I love Christmas movies because they're so stupid and corny, but they always make you happy, right?
Well, it was actually funny because I watched two almost back to back. I watched like one day and one the next. And like, I know we joke and I know that there's a lot of like memes out there about them having like the same cast and like the same sets and the same city and the same plot. But this was literally the same plot. like they're sort of similar, like the high executive comes to town, like insert storyline here, but it was the exact same storyline.
Really?
It was the high executive toy maker coming to a small town to purchase the small toy store. That's a pretty specific plot line. And it was the exact same. So I just thought totally different actors, which is unusual in it.
Yeah, usually holiday movies are pretty similar.
So I was kind of surprised because I started watching it going, I think I've seen this. Nope. No, but I think, no. Have I? I don't, what?
Well, I watched a really good one on Netflix called Single All the Way. Have you heard about that one?
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Very funny, and I will say it was interesting because it's about a gay couple there was no one coming out, there was no one trying to be straight. It was literally the same plot, but two guys instead of a girl and a guy, and it was funny as hell. Jennifer Coolidge is in it. Anything that Jennifer Coolidge is. Do you guys know who Jennifer Coolidge is?
I don't.
She was in Legally. You'll know her when you see her. She was in Legally Blonde. She was in White Lotus. She's everything she's in. I watch. She's so funny. When they did the Emmys. Was it the Emmys? Yeah, when she like stole the show on it. She is so funny. And the reason I watched it, I knew, most of the plots are the same. And I just thought, okay, this is cool. It's a little different. But as soon as I saw her name, I'm like, click, I'm watching it because she cracks me up. But it was so refreshing to see. There was nothing in the movie that was about, like I said, the controversial thing about being gay. It wasn't. It was strictly, it just happened to be gay characters, but everyone was accepting. The mom was trying to set him up.
That's actually nice.
Yeah, the mom was trying to set him up with a guy. You know what I mean? Like a guy that she liked, not the guy that.
Yeah, but I'm glad we've gotten to that point because I know a lot of the movies in the past have been different, right? Different perspectives and stuff. But I'm glad that it's just a movie. That's awesome.
So if you guys have any good Christmas movies, can you just like list them for us? Because I'm always looking. One of my favorite is always Elf.
That is my favorite as well. That's another reason why our code is ELF. I watch it probably 15 million times over the holidays. I have not
every
watched
time it comes on your TV, which is every day now, I just leave it on.
Well, my son was actually in a production of Elf at his elementary school many years ago. So we have those coming up. So I watch some scenes every once in a while. So we love certain scenes in the movie because, he knows those scenes so well.
So great.
Yes, we do watch Elf. My kids have literally, if anybody hasn't seen Elf, there's a scene where he goes up the escalator and he's got one foot like way up and like one foot way down. And he's like this on the escalator. I have many pictures of my children doing that in stores.
It's a great movie. It was funny. Yesterday I was listening to Sirius, because I listen to Sirius a lot in my car. And it was the Just Kegel show. And they were doing a Rotten Tomatoes, who is usually the go-to to find out if a movie's good, did their top 50 Christmas movies. Some of them, like Elf and Love Actually, were not even like they were in the bottom. And like, how could Elf possibly not be in the top 5?
How is Elf not the number 1?
So it's really interesting. That's why it's interesting to me if anyone has any suggestions to see what people like. I pretty much like everything. I'm not into the horror Christmas movies.
There's a few that I watch on a regular basis, like every year. Again, Elf. I don't even know I think it's called The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I watch that one every year. And then there's one, I can't remember the name of it. You and I talked about it. I think you know the name of it, with Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah. I can't remember
the name of it. But so those are kind of my 3, like when they come on those
And I always watch White Christmas because I love the singing and dancing back from the whenever it was 50s, 40s. I don't even know.
And then we always have to watch.
Well, you have to watch the best Christmas movie ever, Die Hard.
Yes, and there was a big debate over whether there is a big debate of whether that's a Christmas movie. And I was listening to a conversation about specifically like movies that are. It happens at Christmas time.
Yeah,
there's a Christmas tree in her office. It is a Christmas movie. Now, if you go onto TikTok and you watch Bruce Willis, he will say it is not a Christmas movie. Right. It is a Bruce Willis movie.
That's right. Which I give him, which is fine. It's the same thing to me. Bruce Willis
he can say that because he's the main actor. That's he can say it. In my world, it is the best. Yes, that is the other. Yes, I do watch that one.
It's so great. How can you not watch? And then how it happens every single year. Every single year, I go through the entire Die Hard series.
Of course. Yes. Yes, it got kind of Die Hard 3, not great, but Die Hard 2, yes. Well, yeah. Well, I watched almost finale of The Bachelorette last night.
Oh.
And going back to the same plot line of Christmas movies, what I find very interesting about this particular show, and I know you didn't watch it because you were really far behind. We'll watch the finale next week.
Yeah.
But because that's all you really need to watch.
Yeah.
But again, going back to similar plot lines is the one person that she is showering with affection and saying how much she loves. Like my husband came in the room for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Saw the big production that she was like, oh, I could see myself falling in love with this guy and go, oh, so he's leaving.
Really?
And that always happens. Like the one that she's talking the most about is always the one that goes home on the second last show.
That's not cool.
So I always feel bad for that guy.
Well, I was watching The Voice because you guys know I love anything that's singing and music. And I love the show. I watch every single season. What I hate always is the ending because the person they pick is always somebody that I would never buy their album. They're probably the best voice, but I wouldn't buy their album. And I have this thing about, singing competitions or American Idol and all those stuff. The one thing American Idol does a little bit better is they always pick the person that's highly, marketable, right? So regardless of whether it's, the best singer, people, they know that that's the records that are going to be sold. So that's always disappointing to me with The Voice because I guaranteed everyone's incredibly talented who's won that competition, but most of the time I would never buy their album. So
right, you don't like their music.
There was a group on. It's a trio called A Girl Named Tom, and they've been my favorite since day one. And they're two brothers and a sister. And it was funny because the reason it's called A Girl Named Tom, which is interesting, is because when they were growing up, the boys wanted another brother, so they just called her Tom, Thomas. So, anyways. Total side, and I love these guys. They're like, their harmonies are amazing. Like they sound like, you'd listen to Fleetwood Mac or Mom and the Papas or any of those kind of beautiful, harmonious kind of groups. And they went down the finale and clearly the single singers were, very strong voices and stuff. And they won. They won for the first time ever. Somebody won that I would buy their album. And it was interesting because they said their four performances all landed in the top 10 in Apple iTunes. Oh. So it's interesting that this is the first year that somebody who's highly, highly marketable won The Voice. And that's kind of, I'm trying to figure out, is it because more people are watching because they're at home? Right. And there's more people going, I would buy their album like me, or is it just because people realize that nobody who's winning is really making it on The Voice except for one or two?
That's an interesting thing, right? You think about the marketability, and that sometimes when we look at shows like that, we don't think of the marketability because they're again being judged, and which is great, 100% on their voice. However, in order to actually sort of make it to that next level in your business, it has to be marketable. And it's the same thing with everything that we do. Like, is it marketable? Like, it's a great idea. Right. Sure, we have a lot of great ideas. We think
but does anyone want it?
But if it's not marketable, you can't sell it.
That's the number one thing that we have with most of our clients, because unfortunately, this is a good time to reflect if you're doing the challenge, to look at yourself and your business. Most of us go into having a great idea, and you're very stubborn on it, right? Because you're like, no, this is what I want to do. And most of our job is like, yeah, but that's not how people want to see it, right? So let's tweak it a little bit and make it good for the masses, that people want to buy it and do it and learn from it, or whatever it is. But you have to let go of, the fact that I'm going to stick to my guns. It's kind of like when you're on a singing show and this is the only thing I want to sing. But you're really, you could sing something else and sell a lot of records, right? And maybe you should look at that. So
there's a line there.
Like we have clients in GIA, right? Because we're teaching you how to have global impact. That's one of the first things we always hear is, yeah, but I don't want to do, I don't want to do a video on like this. And we're like, yeah, but you know what? If you really want to get your message out, you really want to have people have your product in their hands, you have to understand the marketability of yourself. Right.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And you're staying true to your idea, and you're staying true to who you are, but you need to understand the bigger picture of how people look at it.
Yeah. And that's where, the Q&A is invaluable, because they're like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I've positioned it. And a lot of times it's not us. It's also the other students that are taking it along with them go, well, I don't really understand what that is. I don't understand why I would purchase that. So sometimes it's the positioning of it. And that's what I mean, the marketability, because if you don't understand how to use it or why you would.
Yeah. and it always happens. We're doing Q&As, always happens on people's landing pages, right? They're selling a product or they're selling a service, and they put together this page and sure enough, us and the rest of our students go, what are you selling exactly? We don't really understand it, because you're so into your own stuff that you realize that people don't get it. They don't understand it. So, we're always very cognizant of starting with, here's what you get at the end of it. When you do it, this is what happens, right? Here's your transformation. Yeah. And so it's really important when you start, like, we can't do anything without thinking that. Like, it's just in our brains now. And that's what happens when you start, studying on how to do things and how to get visible online or visible at a conference, or where, when you're speaking, I work with a lot of clients that are working on their speaking careers. And the whole point is, if you're going on stage, you might be a great speaker, but if you haven't really positioned your speech to have people come take action with you, then it doesn't really matter.
Right. And you can have a great product that you're going to be delivering. Like, I know one of the people I was talking to yesterday, I was like, so how's this particular thing? I knew they were launching something or whatever. And it's like, it's really great on the inside.
Yeah.
But you have to get people through that door. Yeah. And if they don't know what to expect, or they don't know what they're going to get, or they don't know what the benefits are, because I kind of said, well, I didn't really get it. Like, I knew that they were launching something. I said, but I don't really know who's there, and I don't know what I'm going to gain out of it and what you bring to the table as far as the leader. And she goes, yeah, you're right. That's probably why people aren't going through that door. So that's why we call it the wall, the paywall, whatever the case is.
What we did to address it, we know our GIA program is phenomenal, and it's huge, right? And so what we did, and I think if you message us, you could probably still get in. What we did was we created a backstage pass so that you could come in to the inside of our program and actually go through some of the modules and take a look for free, just so that you could see what you're going to get. And that was hugely important for a lot of people, because, I mean, your first inclination is, if I put money out, what's it actually going to look like? Because we've all been burned, right? We've all bought a program and we've gone in and we're like, that's it? Like, that's crap, right? So we're very proud of all our stuff, and we know the value. So we actually put it into a backstage pass and said, okay, come here, come take a look, right? Have a look around, see what you're going to get. And then you'll have no fear of going forward. So.
Exactly, because I can't tell you the amount of times I purchase even inexpensive stuff. So, I mean, sometimes it's not a huge money layout, but they, you're going to get this result, this result, this result. And I go in and it's like a one-page tip sheet. I'm like,
yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? I found
for a one-page tip sheet.
Yeah, like I think I told you about it a couple of weeks ago. I saw someone's program. It wasn't very much. It was like $100 or something. I didn't buy it, but I went to their website and I went through all their resources, and truly all the resources are exactly the program. So they're there for free. But he's also charging for if you just want it in one place. And it is in one place because it's all in his resources, but I don't think people can see it. Like, we're trained to see it, right?
Yeah, we look all over. Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, as we've always said, any information is out there. You can get it for free on YouTube. You can get it for free anywhere you look, in books and stuff. It's just that whether you want to put together in wrapping in a bow, that's what we kind of do for you. And we take you through the steps, but we also add action steps and how to do everything. You have to figure out what's the best use of your time, because, like, again, you can find everything. It's just, do you have the time to spend researching for literally days and days and days to find the stuff. So we've tried to take all the guesswork out of everything and just say, here's the backstage pass, watch a webinar, do whatever you need to do to make you feel confident that this is right for you. Because we're not afraid of anything. We know exactly what's in the back end. And, on top of that, we added certifications so that you can really see the value, right? So there's so much you can do. And part of that really comes down to the planning piece. And that's why it's so important. So, you said, someone had a great program on the inside, but they haven't planned the outside. And that's part of doing the challenge. Like, come and do the challenge and understand what you need to do to plan to go forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think, again, great idea. I love it when you spring things on me. But last week you sprang on the fact that we were going to go live every day. We're going to do it with you, which I think is really important to showcase that. Again, we say it over and over again, but anything that we promote or anything, we do it too. Like, if there's a program out there, we've used it. If there's a challenge, we do it. We did the TikTok challenge. We did it with you. Like, that's, we're going to do this particular challenge with you. All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us in the city. If you're ready to make a lasting impression on a global scale, you can learn more at joingia.com. That's joingia.com.
So go there now, because the world is waiting for you.